I I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs.
The world of Fallout 76 over the past couple of weeks has gone through a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people's opinions have stated that the game is not complete, the game is buggy, and a lot of YouTubers, a lot of companies, a lot of people on Reddit and other social media platforms have spoke out about this game and have basically explained how this game is not what they wanted, that it's terrible, that it's not actually got anything going for it. But what people don't seem to realize is the fact that, yes, their opinions are valid. The evidence is there in front, and I would never say that what these people are saying is incorrect or is wrong, as me and friends that I have played the game with have also experienced many bugs and many issues with the game. But that does not take away the fact that Fallout 76 as a whole is a fun game. When Bethesda announced Fallout 76 at E3, they never made any promises, they never stated that it was going to be one way or it was going to be another, similar to how No Man's Sky was announced when that was first announced back in 2015. Yet, because people expect Bethesda to produce a AAA title that doesn't have anything wrong with it and is done to perfection, even though existing games from Bethesda have never been pristine or perfect or bug-free, and as Todd Howard himself stated that, Bethesda know that they're famous for their bugs, that they are looked upon as more features than actual issues or problems with the game. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Fallout 76 does feel lackluster. I had the game personally for 3 days. In that time, I had completed most of the quest lines and had actually launched my first nuke. And literally, I think the first major challenge from the game was the run up to the actual launching of the nuke within the silo itself. But that is more so for the fact, I think, by having experience with Fallout games in the past, that I'm used to the enemy load, I'm used to the way that it is, and we genuinely just got on with it between me and my friend. But whilst looking into this as a bit of a review, the game in general, it is fun. The game does have issues, but playing with friends is brilliant. It brings a new dynamic that a lot of people would say that they have wanted in the Fallout universe for a very, very long time. But I believe that I feel some people will still expect and still see Fallout games as being a single player experience, doing missions, having a story, and not really having the freedom to kind of do what you want as a personal basis. They feel restricted or they feel capped at being able to do certain things, such as nuking Fisher Site Prime and taking on the Scorch Beast Queen. It's obviously not something that you can do single-handedly. If you can, then you deserve a medal. But even the game recommends 8+ players, and as an end game, there is still something forward to that. But this is the point of what Fallout 76 was. It was about the first people that came out of the vaults after the nukes and it was about them rebuilding America. It was never about them going against institutes or coming up against the Brotherhood, or you know, it's more and more people, I believe, are picking at it and are doing exactly the same situation as previous games such as Call of Duty Black Ops 4 that we've had this year, and Battlefield 5, where people are picking at very, very small details. But again, I understand that there are details within Fallout 76 that can be magnified and can be seen as a larger problem to the game. I believe that the multiplayer element brings a new dynamic. It's ideal, I believe, for the development of not only for the game and the franchise, but for Bethesda itself. It's obviously worked with Elder Scrolls Online and the route that they went down with that, but at the same time, I also believe that there are things that they need to obviously fix within Fallout 76. I believe the survival element to it, a lot of people I have seen on especially the Bethesda Twitter site complaining about the survival element of the making sure that you're hydrated and that you're fed. But if anybody had played the survival modes on the previous Fallout games, they would be aware that this was a feature that has been around in the Fallout universe for quite a while. But it's obvious that some people probably have never played that game mode, and this is a new experience to them. The looting and the stash, I believe that I can kind of link this onto the same thing, and I have had issues with my stash, but that's more so to do with me. I've realised that I do pick up quite a lot of stuff, and as an example, the day before recording this, I found out that I had over 1,000 steel in my stash that genuinely took up a decent 70 odd, room within the box. But after dishing it out and sorting it and stuff like that, and obviously giving it to people that needed it, the stash is genuinely enough space for people to survive on. I believe that it would be better to have a little bit more room, especially for those people such as myself and my friends that I've played with and other people that I've spoke to, that you find an armor set or a specific weapon that you've enjoyed using in previous Fallout games, and you're not the right level to use that weapon or use that armor piece at that specific time, and you do want to keep it. You don't want to just get rid of it. And genuinely, a power armor set does take up 100 of pretty much 1/4 of the space within the stash box, and it does become quite an issue. But again, as long as you're smart around it, it shouldn't be that bad. But I think a tip from that, what I would give, is just in future, make sure that the junk that you're picking up is what you need, and you will have a lot more room than you need to. I believe that but the rest of the game, the environment, I believe is phenomenal. I've enjoyed, especially walking through the forest when it's a little bit smoky or foggy or anything, and the lights coming through the trees, and I believe that it's very strong, and the environment itself is genuinely beautiful. Again, I have witnessed rendering issues if that's coming up against scorched officers or just walking around the landscape in general, where textures have disappeared and I've got a big green landscape in front of me or a purple rock. But again, these are things that can get patched later on. The monsters, I believe, have been good. I believe that Bethesda have kept it very close to the lore within West Virginia. I believe that they have kept to the promise of the creatures that they mentioned. And overall, I would say that my overall view on this would probably be a 2.5 out of 5. The only reason is there is a lot of room for improvement. There's more stuff that they could put in. There's more end game stuff that they could actually introduce. but at the same time, the game itself is fun. The perks cards, the way that you can level up, is ideal. It gives you an opportunity where you can work around your team. So if you want someone that's mainly associated with being a medic that can use a stim pack and heal people within a local area to you, at the same time, it is ideal. It works. You can have a group where you can all work together, and everyone can share a card. So if there's something that you have in particular that someone else doesn't have at a max level, then you can use that to aid the development of the team and the furtheration of your progress and where you can go down that road. But I do believe that there is a lot of room for improvement. I thought that I'll say the almost 50 gigabyte update, there wasn't particularly anything that came with it. The update kind of came out. It kind of took everyone that's surprised by the size of it. And there was some fixes and there was some patches, but then certain things that they had stated that they were going to fix weren't particularly fixed. I know a friend of mine that actually bought me the game, he was experiencing issues with his camp that were actually related to what the patch was. He was having issues with the PvP element to it, and it's one of those situations of, if you're going to bring a patch up, make sure that you know what's going on. Don't just say that you're fixing something if it isn't going to fix. But at the same time, I think that I've already put about almost 76 hours into the game, and I am still enjoying it. But the question that remains is, for how long am I going to remain enjoying this game? And at what point am I going to feel that the game has become surplus or doesn't have enough of a grip to keep you going? Or whereas the events that are around the map are interesting, they keep you in and they keep you involved, and they're there to help you and give you better rewards and stuff. With me playing it on PlayStation, one of the main issues that I've noticed is I'm completing some of these events that are related to trophies, and I'm not either receiving the trophies for them, or on completion of the event, I'm not getting any rewards, and the game's stating that I haven't actually done the event. And even though some of them are fun, I believe that the War That Never Was is a PvP-esque one where you can either play as the Confederation or the Union, and you can pick a side and fight between, and it is fun. It's a nice little bit of PvP that doesn't involve just going full on or just completely murdering each other. But at the same time, I believe that Todd Howard and Bethesda have kept to their promise. I believe that there are people that really either need to reevaluate and just don't get the game. But at the same time, there are people out there that I believe that are just jumping onto the bandwagon to become trolls just because they want an excuse just to shout at a game, because Black Ops has cooled down a bit now, and all the updates to No Man's Sky means that it's actually starting to become a good game, and people need to understand that it's only been a couple of weeks that this game has been out. Bethesda have been hit really, really hard by the backlash that has come from this. But as a community, that if you have enjoyed Fallout games in the past, or if you enjoy work from Bethesda, people really need to open their eyes to knowing that Bethesda are no strangers to putting patches and updates and bringing out content that is good and reliable and genuinely brings interest into people. But I believe that until now, my review score will still be 2.5. I don't believe that it warrants a complete failure, but I don't think that it's good enough at this moment in time to be warranted as a really, really good game. But only time can tell. And until then, who knows? Maybe Bethesda and Todd Howard will stand up and announce that they are going to be doing a big patch, hopefully for January with some initial content. But at the same time, I don't see that happening. But I believe that if within the first quarter of the year we could get some sort of DLC, if that be opening Vault 94 or 63 for exploration, or with a little bit of a mission based, or if you could bring in, obviously without NPCs, if you brought in the pirates that were on the top of the Boston Tower in the Commonwealth in Fallout 4, or bringing in certain Easter eggs and link mission chains and stuff that relate to missions from Fallout 3 or New Vegas or Fallout 4, for example. And there are ways to keep this fresh. But as a community, we need to stick with this and genuinely stop as much of the hate that's going to it as possible. And people need to, kind of put it past them. If you don't enjoy the game, don't play it. But that doesn't mean sit there and shit on it for everyone else when it might be something enjoyable for them. Well, until then, I'll see you soon, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.
As you venture out into this new American frontier, some of your fellow survivors may not be neighborly.